Hey guys, what's up? DJ's Aviation. Welcome to another update to my 1 to 400 scale model airport. My airport's located in London and it is a fictional airport. I've based the airport kind of off Gatwick, Heathrow, City Airport, Stansted and Luton. So kind of combined all the aircraft that go there and also purchased aircraft I like personally that fly in and around Europe. So I do hope you guys enjoy this update. In this video we have two new arrivals, some new GSC and a couple of other additions which I think you might like. We're going to begin with our first model, which is turning onto runway 26 for immediate departure. This is my Qatar Airways Airbus A350-900. This will be jetting off to Doha. Our first new arrival of the day, which is holding short and readying for a departure, is the Qantas 787-9 Great Southern Land. This will be heading off to Perth and Melbourne, and it's the first service that is now connecting my airport to Australia. Moving along to the right, we go over to our regional area. We have, first of all, the Flybe Q400. This will be heading off to Birmingham in around half an hour. Moving to the left, heading off to Manchester in around an hour, is our British Airways Airbus A320. Moving along to the left, we move to the cargo stands. And this is my Saudia cargo 747-8. This will be heading off to Dubai World Trade Center in around a day, so not much is actually going on with this model at this stage. And while this isn't a new aircraft, we have another new arrival to the airport, and that is the I think this is in 1 to 500 scale, but it is a control tower which now sits there. I might put it on the roof of a terminal, but when I actually inspected it, it looked a bit too high. That's why it's sitting there at the moment. However, I might move spots eventually. Moving along, we have the KLM 747 heading off to Los Angeles. This arrived in 2 hours ago from Amsterdam, so it's a triangular route. This is in the new livery as well. You're probably also wondering, it's very congested at my airport. That's because the airport has encountered a snowstorm. A lot of the aircraft have been delayed in getting here, so nearly every single gate is actually occupied, and this is probably the busiest you'll ever see the airport. Moving up to our first domestic area, we have the Lufthansa A321, which is currently being fueled and passengers are about to board. This will be heading off to Hamburg in around 35 minutes. Moving along, we have the Wolotea Airbus A321 as well, but this one has sharklets. This will be heading off to Iceland in around 3 hours, so not much is going on at that particular gate. We also have two empty gates in between these aircraft. Moving along, we start with our wide-body aircraft. Our first one is the Etihad Airways Airbus A380-800. This will be heading off to Abu Dhabi in around an hour. As you can see, the tug's just been attached. On the other side, there's actually some AKE containers being loaded in. Moving up, preparing for a pushback for a flight out to Jakarta, but this probably won't actually... Oh, there we go, we can see it a little bit. The British Airways 777-300ER, so as we just mentioned, this is actually being pushed back right now. Moving along to our next new arrival of the day, the Oman Air 787-8. A very, very beautiful scheme. I'm very happy to have this on the airport. You should be seeing an unboxing for this very soon. But this will be completing an inaugural flight out to Oman very soon. As you can see, it's also being heavily serviced. Some bags are going to start to go on. Catering's being put on board. The engines are being fueled up, and so on. Behind that, we have the Air Canada 787-8 as well. This is in the new livery if you're unaware, so that's quite a nice model as well. This will be heading off to Vancouver in around an hour, I think. Exiting off runway 26 is another A380. This is the Emirates A380 United for Wildlife scheme. This has just come in from a flight in Dubai. Moving up, we have another flight heading out to Jakarta. This is the Garuda 777 in the SkyTeam colours. This will be heading off in around 5 hours. It arrived half an hour ago. Everything's been loaded off, so now it'll just wait for more GSC to free up. Moving along to the right, we have heading off to Tokyo Narita, an ANA 787-9 in the R2-D2 colours. I'm just going to move the camera angle now so you can see the rest of the planes on the mat, so just bear with me for 2 seconds. So we begin this particular section with the GSC graveyard, or the storage zone. This is where GSC that isn't in use or isn't like operational will be sitting. So we've got 2 buses, 2 stairs, 3 pushback tugs, and a loading on vehicle. Moving along to the left, we have the spotting zone where we've got the people set up, and of course the family of cows on the grass, they're just chilling. Moving along to the right, we have our second domestic area. However, this area passengers are actually bussed out. Our first model in this zone is the Aer Lingus A321. This will be heading off to Dublin in around half an hour. As you can see, passengers are being loaded on. Moving along to the left, we have the Ryanair 737-800. I'm not too sure where this one will be heading out, but it's rumoured to depart in around 45 minutes. I believe it actually might be a new service as well, but I'll have to check. To the left, we have an empty gate, and then being heavily serviced for a flight out to New York is the Icelandair 757-200. Passengers are being loaded on from both doors, catering is being put on board, and on the other side, bags are being loaded on. Moving along to the right, we have the British Airways 787 preparing for is being pushed back rather. This will be heading out to Dallas. As I said, the airport is very congested, so the delay times are around half an hour from pushback. Of course, we've got to make sure everything's okay with the aircraft, but we do have a massive backlog of aircraft trying to depart. To name a few, we have that KLM, Qantas 787, Qatar, British Airways 777, and a whole heap more that are looking to depart within the next half an hour due to the snowstorm. Moving up, we have the American Airlines 777, which has actually been delayed by 5 hours. This is again due to the snowstorm. It lost its slot. So as I said, it'll be going off in around 5 hours. Fuel's being loaded on board, but passengers are actually just waiting in the terminal rather than being loaded on so early. So all GSE that was working on this aircraft has moved to the likes of Oman Air and Etihad to work on those. To the left, we have an open gate. And then finally, we have the Airbus A380 for Qatar. Now, eventually when I complete this particular terminal and get the sky bridges off, this will become an operating gate for A380s, but at this stage I use it as kind of a maintenance gate. So as you can see, we've got 3 service vehicles. There was an issue with the wingtip on this A380, and that's why you can see there are 2 vehicles to the right. The other vehicle to the left is also inspecting that wingtip and the engine, so I'm not too sure when this will become operational, but it should be heading off to Doha in the next week. There's no exact day when it will take off, but the airline has stated it should be departing within the week, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on that particular one. So that's going to conclude the update. I do hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit shorter than my usual ones, but again, just getting straight to the point. In this update, as I mentioned, we have 2 new arrivals, that being the Oman Air and the Qantas 787. These are both very pretty models. In the next update, you will see a further 2 new models introduced as well. So stay tuned for that. Not too sure when that one will be out though, so yeah. Thank you very much for watching once again. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and I will see you all next time. Peace.